Hey, it's Locksmith of the CommanderSmiths here with searching for the spotlight, Treebeard, gracious host, and looking to go life gain with it. We got a bunch of different categories here. Obviously, we got some manas, some draw, removal, protection, life gain, payoff, counters, a little bit of overrun stuff, a little bit of graveyard, ETBs, and I don't know, fucking random. There we go. We'll put that there. All right. If you haven't been here before, this takes run this for about 2 hours. So I suggest 1.5 speed. If you are not watching this live, you can always make comments on what you feel like, which way I should have went. The deck list you can always check. Shy can always check that on Moxfield after about a week after this has gone live. Sometimes a lot shorter, probably by Monday. I have at least a solid list online. And sometimes things drastically change. And so I don't know where this shit is going. I have a good idea how I want it to go, but that doesn't mean it's going to work, and I'm willing to change stuff. So got about 160 cards here. We're going to run through at the beginning, and then afterwards we'll cut and try and get down generally around in the 70 or 80. I start calling it quits and stuff like that. So let's see here. Okay, hear me out. Take out white, add red and black, make your commander prosh. You're welcome. But that's only like a 6.5 on Chat GPT scale, right? Power level. Guy's Avenger doesn't make it in here. I'm not going to have enough artifacts. Because I'm not going food really that I know of. But that could be a way. Commander Smith is a podcast that records live every Monday night together. We go for aim for about an hour and a half. We got a main segment that always changes, and we got a couple games that we like to get to. And we like to bullshit. Me and my cousin Adam, awesome. He makes proxies, which you will see in here, kind of like that right there, for the art. And then we, if you want to become a patron, we give those out to certain tiers. We also have a Discord. $1 gets you in there, and that's all it is. Just a little bit of pledge. That's all right. We also do. What do we do? Something. Oh, we do short videos a couple times a week, stuff like that. So share, like, subscribe with the YouTube stuff. That's greatly appreciated. My opponent's artifacts, but okay. Yeah, but I mean, Guy's Avenger is I'm not dealing with caring about my opponents. Uh that's why I'd want Guy's Avenger in there. Is if I'm running like Mycosynth Lattice. All right. On Jet GPT, my Prosh deck is a 9. Yeah, flip that over. It's a 6. I get it. That's fine. Thank you for anybody and everybody that watches this. All 6 of you. Appreciate it. Remember to give a thumbs up. Let's start getting to this. All right, Treebeard is from the Lord of the Rings precons, but it's 2 and a green and a white for an 05 Tree Folk. Trample, Ward 2, and then it creates 2 food tokens. And then whenever you gain life, put that many 1/1 counters on target halfling or tree folk. Not going to have a lot of tree folk or halfling, so it's going to be kind of more Voltron-y on that, making them huge. Trample and the Ward 2, a little bit of protection there is really nice. And so that's what we're going to be working on today. Let's start off with the fun stuff. Drawing. All right, so a little bit of food stuff is going on. I don't know how much is going to end up being there, but Peregrine took. Whenever one or more tokens are created, you get to make a food token as well. Sacrifice 3 foods, draw a card. That's always nice. So for now, search the premises. Whenever a creature attacks you, you get to make a clue token for each creature that's attacking you. Clue is just kind of drawing. Now that I'm thinking about it, I got a couple of cards that really want a lot of artifacts, and that's what this does. But let's cut that for now. We don't quite need it. Elder Gargaroth, 6/6 Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Whenever it attacks or blocks, choose one of these, which is create a 3/3 beast. get 3 life, or draw a card. There's another one that I'm not thrilled about in here, so I'm just gonna cut right away. Um, but it's a nice little beastie, right? Augur of Autumn, I always like playing cards off the top, but allows you to put lands off the top, and then if you have a certain amount of creatures with power, you get to cast creatures off the top of your library as well. So that's a fantastic card. Treefolk Harbinger, when it ETBs, you get to go and get a forest or another Treefolk and put it on top of your library. I do know that I'm going to want a handful of Treefolk in here. I don't want to be Treefolk tribal, but there will be a couple options there, and I like that. Sensei's top, best card in the game for Commander. Do it. Elven Farsight, Scry 3, and then you can reveal the top card. If it's a creature, draw it. Green, Ponder, play with it more, people. Come on. It's a good card. Dawn of Hope, whenever you gain life, you can pay 2 to draw a card, and you can create 1/1 creatures with lifelink. That probably will go in here. Archivist of Oakma. Whenever an opponent searches their library, gain a life, draw a card. Incremental life gain, incremental draw. It should be solid in here. Azor's Gateway. You can pay 1, tap it to draw a card, and then exile a card from your hand. What is it? And then with 5 or more different converted mana costs are exiled with it, you gain 5 life, untap it, and transform it. The transform side is tap, add X mana of any one color to your mana pool, where X is your life total. It's a life gain deck that can be a lot of life for you there, friends. 7 library, perfect for if you're gaining a ton of life, maybe lose a bunch of life and draw a ton of cards. Inspiring Overseer and Priest of Ancient Lore, they both ETB. Draw your card and gain you a life. Not too bad in this kind of deck. Mentor the Meek. Whenever a creature with power 2 or less come into play, you can pay 1 to draw a card. Rumor Gatherer, you scry for a creature coming into play. If it's a second time, draw a card. Otherwise, you're just scrying. It's not a bad deal. Inspiring Call, there is a potential for a 1/1 counter theme going on in here. And an Inspiring Call is a fantastic card in all of those types of decks where it gives them indestructible and draw a card per. So it's pretty good. Hunter's Insight, again, Treebeard is likely going to be the big guy. And so you can choose target creature you control. And for as much damage as it deals, because it has trample, you get to draw that many cards for 3 mana at instant speed. It's gonna probably do some work in here. The Gaffer. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, draw a card. So not a bad deal to be able to just draw cards all the way around the table. Ranger of Eos. And I should talk about this bad boy too. And Ranger Captain of Eos. They go and get your Soul Sister type cards that are going to come in and gain you a bunch of life around the table. They may or may not stay because I don't play a ton of tutors, and so if any, so I probably prefer not to run these, but it might be essential in here. Ranger Captain is so good, yeah, for sure. Ranger Captain's really good. Um, they're both really good. You know what I mean? So they're gonna go and get plenty of cards that can go get you Bop. It's good. Well of Lost Dreams. If you're running a life gain deck, you're gonna want it for each life you gain. You could pay 1 to draw a card. So it's just whatever you have the amount for. Shamanic Revelation. Draw a card for each creature you control, and then for each creature you have of power 4 or more, gain 4 life. And so that is all just like 1 trigger of life gain. But since Treebeard is for the amount of life, so if it and 1 other creature are power 4 or more, you gain 8 life. Treebeard gets +8/+8 counters. Like it's going to be huge. Rishkar's Expertise, also drawing cards off the greatest power that you have, and then casting something for free. Treebeard's likely going to get huge. Example, this deck might get pretty close to what I had with Trey Lacera 2 years ago. And that was just based off of specific triggers, and she would get up to 1919, right around there. And Treebeard's going to be for every life gain instead of just every individual trigger. It's going to get big pretty quick. Last, March of the Ents, drawing cards, casting non or permanent spells for free, and then a simple explore, draw a card, play another land if you can. Didn't cut a lot of cards there, which isn't bad. I don't hate it. Put the One Ring in there. You know what? I probably would. I just don't. I haven't pulled the trigger on that one. So I don't own one yet, unfortunately. Um, Sparring Call. I don't know how much I care about these two. I might cut Rumor Gatherer and Mentor the Meek at this point. I just don't really know what to expect. I don't know how many creatures I'm going to be playing, but I do like the ETB draw ones at this point. I like Azor's. Donna Hope is not something that I love, but it's something that is going or should work, I hope. Elven Foresight, Top, Augur, Peregrine Took. So at this point, we'll be happy with that. Let's go on to the manas. Um, Ezra Root's Channeler, and I gotta say that Green Black Life Gain deck back from Strixhaven Precons gave a lot of tools for green white life gain, so or just green life gain in general. But so this one is 4/6 reach, taps to gain you 2 life, and then creature spells you cast cost the amount of life that you've gained less. And so if you gained 8 life, all of your creatures cost 8 generic mana less. It can build on itself quite nice. Fairhaven Elf, ETB, get a basic land into play tapped. Fanghorn Tree Shepherd. Um, I'm not going to use this. I think it's too much. I'm not going to have enough tree folk. It's just being able to attack and stuff like that. The Great Henge is going to be awesome in here. Drawing cards whenever you cast a creature or whenever a non token comes into play. You get to draw a card. You're gaining life, getting mana. It's a do everything card. Gilded Goose creates food tokens, and then you can sack food tokens to get mana. I think it's doing some good work here. One with Nature. Whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage, Treebeard should be able to get big enough to deal damage. You get to go and get a basic land and put it into play tapped. Avacyn's Pilgrim taps for a white. Very nice. Soul Ring, Abby, Birds of Paradise, tapping for anything. Green or a white. 3 visits. Nature's Lore are going to go get force and put them into play untapped. That's why they are so good. Farseek goes and get a non-forest into play tapped, but still very good. Sakura Tribe Elder sacks itself to go get a basic into play tapped. Prize Pig taps for any color mana at 2, but whenever you gain life, put that many ribbon counters on it, and then if there are 3 or more ribbon counters on it, remove those counters and untap it. Whenever you gain life, put that many ribbon counters on it. So if you gain 3 life, you can put that many counters on there, remove them, untap it. I think there's going to be a lot of untapping with this piggy, so I like it. Cryptolith Right allows my Soul Sister kind of cards to tap for mana, and I really like it in this kind of deck. Druid class gains you a life whenever you have a land come into play. Also, when you level it up, you get to play more lands. I'm down for that. Mind Stone, I like it generally in non-green decks. We'll see how much draw I have. I might just cut it right now. Normally, I don't use artifact ramp in green decks. That's the whole thing. So I have no recurrent. I'll cut it from this one. Gallic Readers. Whenever another creature ETBs, you can choose one of the following once per turn. 1/1 counter on it, create a tap treasure, or gain 2 life. They're all relevant here, especially if I go into the 1/1 counter theme here. Savala taps to parlay, so that's everybody shows the top card. For each non-land card revealed this way, add a green and gain a life, and you all draw those cards. It's kind of fun. Gaining life is awesome. Wood Elves, ETP, go get a forest into play. Tireless Provisioner gets you a treasure or a food, both relevant in this kind of deck, so I dig it. Pristine Talisman, like I said, this one's going to gain me life, so I'm going to keep it around for now, but taps for mana, gains me a life. I'm down. Courser of Crufix, I'm going to cut it. I've been thinking about this one the whole time, like for the last 2 weeks since I've been pulling the cards. So you get to reveal you have to be revealing the top card of your deck, and whenever a land comes into play, you gain a life, and you can play lands off the top of your deck. But showing your deck and what's coming, That's not fun for people. Like, it's not fun for you. People like seeing it way too much, so it's something that I'm not gonna keep in there. Accomplished Alchemist, taps for 1 mana or add X mana for as much, life you gain this turn. So, it should be a big baller. Shot caller, Paradise Plume, when it ETBs, name a color, and then whenever that color is, a spell is played of that color, you get to gain a life, and then it can tap for that color for mana as well. Probably too much. Too much. So, but I we'll see. Smothering Tithe, obviously. This is another one that I'm gonna cut, but if you're in the tree folk area, yeah. Hockey, you do remove all of the tokens from the pig to untap it, but it's still were good. All right, Everbark Shaman. You can remove a tree folk card from your graveyard from the game and then search your library for 2 forests and put them into play tapped. So that's a solid card if you're going tree folk tribal, but I am not, so we will cut that one. Scholar of New Horizons, ETBs with a 1/1 counter on it, and then you can tap it to remove a counter from a permanent you control. Treebeard likely will always have a counter on it, and so if an opponent controls more lands than you can put that card into the battlefield tapped. If not, put it in your hand. Um, this one likely I'm gonna cut this right now too, because I'm like in green, you're likely just going to have more land than everybody else. So I'll cut that one right off the bat. Who's dork? Me? You're old. I am. Yeah, I'm old. Of course I am. All right. Mark of Sakiko. Uh, Aura. And then whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, add that much green and it stays until the end of the turn. And so this is one you put on Treebeard, and if he does 6 damage, you get 6 red. Kind of doing the same thing that that red Minotaur that whenever it deals damage or an opponent loses that much life, you gain that much red. Kind of what's going on here. A lot cheaper, but not on the legend. But I like it in this deck potentially. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 3, 24. 24. Likely we're going to have to cut 10 off of there. I should count the draw as well. 21. So likely got to cut 4 to 6 in there. So not too hard on that account. Let's go with protection on Treebeard or just in general. Canopy cover and Alpha Authority. Hexproof, can't be blocked by more than one creature. And then can't be in this one, can't be blocked by creatures with flying or reach, except by creatures with flying or reach. So flyers and reachers can block it. It has trample. It's reducing the amount of creatures that can block it. Hexproof is really nice. Aura, I like the potential for those two. Together Forever is an enchantment that when it comes into play, you can put 2 1/1 counters spread upon 2 target creatures, and then you can pay 1, choose target creature. If it's dying, return it to your hand. So it's just a good way to have Treebeard and potentially other cards not die. Heroic Intervention, what can you say other than it's amazing? Field tested frying pan. When it ETBs, create a halfling and then attach the frying pan to it. And then whenever it attacks, whenever you gain life, this creature gets +X until end of turn, where X is the amount of life you gained. Um, so it's not an attack trigger, it's just whenever you gain life. Unbreakable Formation. Creatures get indestructible. If you cast it on one of your main phases, your creatures get 1/1 counters on them as well, and vigilance. Orim's Prayer. Whenever a creature attacks you, gain 1 life for each attacking creature. So if somebody attacks you with 4 creatures, you gain 4 life. Da, 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 da. Riot Control. Gain 1 life for each creature your opponents control. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. For 3 mana, that's doing a lot in this deck. And Authority of the Councils. Yes, it is in the removal section, I believe, if it's still there. I might have cut it already. I cut like 50 cards before. Duelist Heritage, giving Treebeard double strike or any other creature that's not attacking me on other turns. Swiftfoot Boots for that hasty hexproofy. Shield of the Oversoul will give Treebeard flying and indestructible and +2/+2. So not a bad deal. Basilisk Collar, lifelink, and death touch. So if somebody blocks Treebeard with this attached to it, you only have to deal 1 damage to that creature and it tramples on through. Also, the life gain just doubles Treebeard's power until the next, for the next turn. Teferi's Protection is a great card in here as well. Almost all the time, it's the right call. But if you're going 1/1 counters, you don't really want to lose all that work that you've done. So like bouncing will lose all those counters. Same thing with tokens if I got any of that around. So phasing potentially in here. Did you respite? Do you see any real cards? Renshai, come on, man. Come on. Don't be- Oh, I don't think I have Hintervines in here. What does that one do specifically? It's been a while since I've seen that one. Um, On Sarah's Wings gives +1/+1 flying vigilance and lifelink. That lifelink I think is going to be really nice on Treebeard. It's just going to start rolling pretty strong. Shalai is giving everybody 1/1 counters for that cost, or just hexproof. It's a great protection card. Commander's Plate, basically thinking Treebeard gets +3/+3 protection from black, red, and blue, which are all good ones. It's relevant, right? I don't know. I don't love this card. Somebody convinced me to play Commander's Plate. I know it's good. I look at it and I go, that's pretty good. But it just doesn't make it for me. All right. I'm cutting it for now. This is one of those tree folk I'd want to go see, but Timber Protector, other tree folk creatures you control get +1/+1 and indestructibility along with all of your forests. Hashtag Team Forest Walk. So they become awesome in that regard. A Robe of Stars, it's an equipment that where I can pay 2 and phase out Treebeard for the most part. So that's the hope. That's the dream. Wrap and Vigor, regenerate all creatures you control. Good for a Wrath. And then Tameo, Safekeeping, target permanent you control gains hexproof and indestructible, and you gain 2 life. So it's protection and that life gain. Not a bad deal. Kind of didn't get rid of a lot of these. I don't know how we're gonna go about this. I don't know how Voltron I'm going to go, but it could be fun. Druid hair, yeah. I don't hate any of these at this point. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing there. All right, let's go with removal section at this point. Boop. Oh, all right. Commander's Plate gives protection to 2 of the best removal colors and blue. I already got Ward. Okay, here's the thing. I already have Ward 2, and the trample makes the protection kind of irrelevant. And so like I get that it can't be targeted by those creatures, but it and the damage from red can't kill it. All right. I'm going to cut it anyway. Creatures deal no combat damage, gain 1 life for each attacking creature. Yeah. Okay. I like that. It's a little bit more limited than the other one, but I like what you're doing. Yeah, I like that one that you're talking about. This one, like I can cast this without any creatures attacking, even on my turn. It just gives I gain 1 life for each creature my opponents control. And so that I find kind of cool. I kind of missed the respite though. I like that. All right, generous gift for removal along with I should probably do Beast Within as well. Yeah, we'll see if they make it. Just depends on my removal bits. Night of Autumn, counter theme, gaining life, destroying artifacts or enchantments. It's doing a lot for me. Ajani's Strength of the Pride. Whenever you gain, it creates an Ajani's Pride Mate, which gets 1/1 counters on it, which is kind of a theme in here. You gain life equal to the number of creatures you control plus the number of planeswalkers you control not a bad deal. And then that's just straight game-winning removal as long as you have 15 more life than your starting life total. It's so damn good. Test of endurance, it exists. If you have 50 or more life during your upkeep, you win the game. I'm not gonna put this in here. That is not an interesting play for me, so I don't want that. Damning Verdict, destroy all creatures with no counters on them. So if it's gonna at least I'm gonna have Treebeard around at least. Uh, Predator's Report. Is that the card that like add the toughness and the power and gain that much life for a card? Was it? I don't remember what it's from or anything, but thanks for joining, Jeff. Damning Verdict. Shit, you guys are gonna make me start looking up cards. Okay, let me. Oh, Damning Verdict. It's in here. Huh, could be a Day of Dragons. Yeah, if it's keeping everything around, I have this in my Shalai and Halar deck, um, as well. But I don't know how all out counters I'm going to go, but it could be fun. I'm gonna look up Predator's Rapport. Let's see here. Yeah, so Predator's Rapport is choose target creature you control. You gain life equal to the creature's power plus its toughness. Yeah. I mean, that's doing work for sure. I agree. I didn't put that in here, but it's probably pretty good. Other removal pieces, Righteous Confluence. It's gaining 15 life for 5 mana, ain't a bad thing, along with exiling enchantments or creating tokens. I don't know how much I like this not being an instant. Um, so I'm probably gonna just cut it right now. That's a lot of life, but I need it to do something else as well. Angel of Destiny, flying double strike. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. And at the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 life more than your starting life total, each player, Angel of Destiny, attack this turn loses the game. And so the big thing is this doesn't have to deal a damage. You just have to attack that player, and they lose the game if you have 15 or more life. I didn't mostly spot removal with stuff like exile included. All right. So that's a solid way. I'm going to get rid of Frog Hemoth, but it's something when it deals damage, you can remove X amount of cards as whatever damage you dealt. And you gain life for non creature cards exiled and counters on it. So it was gaining life, adding counters. Just 5 mana is a lot, I think, for this. I'd much rather, might as well get to the cards that I want to talk about here. Boom, boom. So I'd rather have Scavenging Ooze and Lion Sash because you can exile specific cards with just mana and it gains you life, counters on it, and they're both similar and sweet cards. So I'm gonna at least go with this over Frog Hemoth in that regard. I don't even know if they'll make the deck, but I know Frog Hemoth won't because I'd rather have them. Silverback Elder. Whenever you cast a creature spell, choose one, destroy an artifact or enchantment, get a creature into your hand, looking at the top cards, or gaining 4 life. All of them are super relevant. Even, that's the nice thing about the gaining the 4 life. Sometimes it's like, oh, I just need to gain life, 4 life. This just makes Treebeard more ridiculous. So I'll go with that. Fracturing Gust, destroy all artifacts and enchantments, gain 2 life for each permanent destroyed this way. That's going to make Treebeard pretty big, real big. Bane of Progress. I think I'm going to cut that one. I like to play with artifacts and enchantments. I probably go heavier than most people. I do that probably over my instant and sorcery bit. So this generally affects me a little bit more than other people playing it. So we'll cut that. Uh, Heliod's Intervention, destroying artifacts or enchantments for X, or gaining twice as much life as X. Either way, quite good in here. Authority of the Councils. There we go. See, we're on the same page. And Blind Obedience, but that has your opponent's creatures coming to play tap. This has Extort to gain life. This is gaining life whenever an opponent controls a creature coming into play, gaining life. They're both solid life gain. I like them both. And just slowing down the opponents is good. I did include Heliod's intervention. Yeah. Yep. I think that's a really good one there. So I like Authority of the Councils. Here's one of those things I do want to talk about it, and we'll see it in the life gain section as well. But so there are a couple different versions of like creatures coming into play and gaining life. Some of them are whenever you have a creature come into play, gain a life. Whenever, and then this one is whenever an opponent has a creature come into play, you gain a life. And then there is the whenever a creature comes into play, gain a life. So whenever a creature comes into play in life, those are the best ones. You gain so much life off of that. The ones that specifically target just you generally is going to be less than what everybody else playing creatures is going to do. Now, obviously, this depends on your meta, how many creatures people actually play in a deck. But that's what I've found is if you're not a straight up token go wide deck, just having creatures ETBing on your side isn't going to do a lot for you. Noble purpose. Let me go through here, see if there's anything I really want to cut. Um, it's just player removal. That's kind of one thing that I was doing. Yeah, I dig them all. All right, noble purpose. I'm assuming that's like a combat damage or attacking thing to gain a bunch of life. Noble. Okay, yeah, giving all my creatures lifelink. I don't disagree with that. It's 5 mana, white enchantment that gives all your creatures lifelink essentially. I don't have a problem with that, but I think I'd rather want to go cheaper, so I might as well just get to it. All right, life gain cards. I could probably be kind of half-ass aggressive here. Trading post, it just kind of does a lot, but it's nice because the gaining life is worth it in here. But we're gonna cut it. I got enough life gain in here. I don't need to worry about that kind of stuff. So this is one I was talking about. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life. Johnny's welcome at 1 makes it worth it, but if it was like 2 or more, probably not. Ordeal of Heliod. It's an aura, and then whenever that creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. If there's 3 or more, you sack it, and then with this one, you gain 10 life. I probably should go get the green one because that'll get me to land, and it's a ridiculous card in this kind of deck. So that's Nylea's Ordeal of Nylea. Yeah. Oh, I gotta go get that one. So that'll add in, but gaining 10 life off an attack plus so this gives Treebeard 11 plus 11. I'll take that. Sunscorched Regent. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, gain a life, put a 1/1 counter on it. It's gonna trigger a lot for you. Um, it's nice. Essence Warden. I'll have to find the fucking da 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 da. um, you're getting a quick look at everything. Let's see here. All right. So Soul's Attendant, Soul Warden, and as Essence Warden, they're all the same card in different ways. But whenever another creature ETBs, you may gain 1 life. These 3 auto make it into the deck. They're not going anywhere. They are the Soul Sisters. You keep them in. Fang Green Marauder. Whenever any artifact is put into any graveyard, you get to gain 5 life. That's treasures. You got food in here, so food is going to be 8 life for you. That's a pretty big thing. So we'll see if that makes it in. This is what I was thinking. Spirit Link on Treebeard gains you that life a lot quicker than a 5 mana enchantment like Noble Purpose. But I think it depends on how aggressive you want to be. If you are a tree folk deck, I think that probably works better um, because you're going wider or I guess bigger. I'm not going to be wanting to really be attacking with the Soul Sister type cards. Resurrection Orb for Treebeard. Is that the one when it dies? Is it from Warhammer? Where like if it dies, you can pay a certain amount and it has it come back and also gives it lifelink? I thought about that one. I don't think it's in here. Um, But I don't think that's a bad bit because it's like, what, 2 to come out, 4 to equip? It's that 4 part that's brutal. What? Oh, use, uses. Alright, so Spirit Link, giving Treebeard life link on the attack. I like it a lot. Claws of Gix, just a sack outlet. I don't think I'm going to keep this in here. But it's one, sack a permanent, any permanent, and gain one life. Not a bad deal. It's going to go away. All right, Lean and Elder. Whenever any artifact comes into play, you may gain one life. You got food coming into play, tons of treasures out and about. So there is a lot of triggers that can potentially happen. Sun Droplet. Whenever you're dealt damage, put that many charge counters on it at the beginning of each upkeep. You get to gain a life and remove one of them charge counters. It's just constant life gain and works with a handful of cards in the deck potentially. So I like this as a life gain card. Prosperous Innkeeper. When it ETBs, create a treasure token, and then whenever a creature ETBs for you, you gain a life. So this is one of those that it's kind of like it's very questionable. I don't know how many creatures are actually going to be coming into play. I'm not really using creature tokens, but that treasure is kind of nice. I can't lie. Auriok Champion, protection from black and red, and then whenever a creature ETBs from anywhere, gain a life. That's an auto include as well. Spirit Loop, giving Treebeard life link, but if this gets destroyed, it comes back into the hand as well. So a nice little piece that's resilient. Philidar Umbra, giving a Treebeard life link, also totem armor, so giving him a little bit more protection and also can move it around a little bit, but I don't care about that. I like the totem armor. I like the life link. There's already enough stuff on Treebeard that I'm happy with the ward and trample. And so if somebody, destroys it, totem armor works. Sun Droplet, will I cut? I don't know if I'm going to cut. It's not a lot of triggers, but it's consistent triggers, which I do like. Suture Priest is whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get to gain a life, and then whenever an opponent has a creature ETB, they lose a life. So it's kind of doing a little bit extra. I kind of like that. Distinguished Conjurer, whenever a creature ETBs for you, gain a life, and then it has a blink on it. I think this is too much. It's not it's not enough. It's gonna go away. All right, life gift enchantment. Whenever a land comes into play for anyone, anywhere, you get to gain a life. So I'm down with that. That's a lot of life gain throughout a game. Wall of Reverence. Defender flying at the beginning of your end step. You may gain life equal to the power of target creature you control. That'd be Treebeard. Double his life at your upkeep or his power at upkeep. It should do a lot of work. Flying 1/6. I've had this card. I've seen it do some good stuff. Um, probably like noble purpose, but Abzan Battle Priest. Each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on has lifelink. And I think it's probably just too much, especially if I don't go with the 1/1 counter theme. And so I'm gonna cut that just because I think it's a fair comparison for noble purpose. I I will cut Sun Droplet. You will. Have you been watching Yoda clips? It's all over the place. Just kidding. I shouldn't be judging you. I know. I know my words I text aren't always the best. Aetherflux Reservoir, it's just whenever you cast spells, you're gaining 1, 2, 3 for as many spells as you do, and then you can um kind of just what is it? Pay 50 life, deal 50 damage. It does good stuff. And so I like it potentially here. Might be just overused, so I don't know if I like it either in that regard. Wingmate Rock. Whenever this ETBs or if you attacked with a creature this turn, put a 3/4 white bird creature token when flying into the battlefield. And then whenever it attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking creature. Um, I'm going to cut this because I don't think I have a wide array of creatures attacking. And so 5 mana to gain 3 life your next turn just ain't going to do much. You're attacking with this, the 3/4, and Treebeard. That's not doing enough, but I love the card. And so we're just gonna have to figure that out. Skull, on the other hand, does work. I think I'm going to keep this in here for now, but it's a 4/4 vigilance life link, and it's for 5 mana. Um, and so I like the vigilance and the life link. You're always going to be gaining life. The equip cost is brutal, but also the ability to give Treebeard vigilance and life link seems solid, but it's that regard is expensive. But just a 5/5 sitting around blocking and gaining your life is probably going to be nice. Yes, it is. That's what I was saying. I apologize. All right, I apologize. A Sword of War and Peace. Whenever you deal or pro red and white +2/+2 to the equipped creature, and then whenever it deals damage, you gain life for the amount of cards you have in your hand, which is nice, and because it's just for next turn, but also deals damage to that player for the amount of cards they have in their hand. So working both ways. Beacon of Immortality, 6 mana instant, double target player's life total, shuffle it into your library. So, 6 mana just to double your life could be really nice, and it makes Treebeard huge. I think there's a high ceiling there. I just don't know where the CMC stuff is going to be happening. Celestial Mantle, 6 mana aura, +3/+3, and then whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, double that controller's its controller's life total. Um, and so, it's kind of Beacon of Immortality, but potentially repeatable. So I like that a bit more. Well, okay, I should point out that difference though too. All right, this happens after combat, so you're not going to be able to double the damage. To whereas you can do this in combat before combat to make sure that your damage is now. So that's a little bit of the difference. Kerbis Harvest Celebrant. You can put X amount of 1/1 counters on it, and then you can remove a 1/1 counter from it to prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn to another target creature with a 1/1 counter on it. So it's there just oh, it's a tree folk too. Oh, I missed that to begin with, but you know, protects Treebeard, and Treebeard can put counters on him to make sure that um it's surviving. I like that a lot. A Spectrum Sentinel, protection from multicolored, so it can sit around and block all day. And then whenever a non-basic land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain a life. It's one of those things like you got to figure out what your crew is doing. If you're having fetches and duels and they're all doing non-basic lands, you're gonna gain some life here. Um, Power Leech, old school card. Gain 1 life whenever one of your opponent's artifacts become tapped, or whenever an activation cost of one of your opponent's artifacts is paid. It's not triggered by continuous artifacts. That'd be static. So, um, I like it so far. It's one of those things that you got to depend on your opponents, though. So if you have like a lattice in there, though, microsynth lattice, all your opponent's lands tap for mana, which is activating ability, which is going to gain you a ton of life. So that is potentially cool, but we'll see if that gets there. Where am I at? Sam, reducing the cost of foods, creating foods, and it's just got a big ass on it. Uh, might have a shot. And then Profane Memento. Whenever a creature card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you gain life, 1 life. Um, I don't have anything. I'm not going to have a lot of removal or mill, and so that's not going to be gaining me enough life. We can get rid of that. So life gain stuff. I'm going to have to cut this way down. Oh, that's protection. I don't know why that got in there. Da-da-da. All right. Kerbis. If there's anything you hate, chat, just say get rid of it. I'll just cut it. How about that? Just kidding. I don't trust you guys. I think so. You're saying that you want me to cut Sun Droplet or no? Hockey. Is that what you're saying? I think I'll cut Prosperous Innkeeper as well. I really like it. Early game, it's nice, man. We'll cut it. We'll cut them both. We'll cut them both. Cut Sam. Cut Sam. Come on. Why do I want to cut Sam? Leon and Elder should be gaining me a lot of life. I like Spirit Link there, Fanghorn. I have a feeling that Marauder is going to be too expensive, but Ordeal of Heliod. Bunch of little. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, Johnny's welcome as one. I mean, it's only 3 manas. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a food token. Activated abilities of food you control cost 1 less to activate. So it costs 1 to activate a food. I like that a lot more than 2. Ba-da-doop. All right. More than half done. All right. So this is going to be life gain payoffs. So just like whenever you gain life, something happens. More lifelink equipment. They don't. That's what the winky face is for, but it doesn't stack. So that part doesn't really matter. Sproutback Trudge, 9/7 Trampler, and then this spell costs X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn, and then at your end step, you can cast it from your graveyard if you gain life. Da, 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 da. It's enticing to just have another big fatty out there. So we'll see. Sarah Ascendant becoming a 6/6 flying life link. If you have 30 or more life, it just snowballs. It's a crazy card. And this is the perfect deck for it. Lone Rider, first strike life link. At the beginning of the end step, if you gain 3 or more life, transform it, which means it turns into a 4/4 first strike trample life link. Nice and aggressive little thing. And the great thing there too is the first strike means you're going to gain life before Treebeard does damage. So if you're getting in with this and attacking, um, that'll happen before Treebeard is dealing damage. All right, Voice of the Blessed. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on it. So this is a singular trigger, not as many as you have. But if it has 4 or more, it has Flying and Vigilance. If it has 10 or more counters on it, it has Indestructible. So I'm going to go for it. Shini's Playmate, 1/1 counter on it whenever for each time life gain triggers. I should just go through Trey Lasara, same thing, 1/1 counter on it whenever you gain life and also scrying. Is there anything else that's doing that? Twin Blade Paladin, whenever you gain life, 1/1 counter on it. If you 25 more life, it has double strike. Okay. So that is that batch. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not a lot. Not a lot there, is there? Lathiel, you get to distribute 1/1 counters for as much life as you've gained at the end of each end step. So not a bad deal. Doing a lot of work there. Assemble the Entmoot, but all your creatures have reach. Then you can sacrifice it and create 3 tapped XX green Treefo tokens, which is for as much life as you've gained this turn. And then they get reach as well. We'll see if that gets there. I don't know how much life I'm going to be gaining, but if I have enough life link on Treebeard, that could be getting big. Attendant Healer. So this is the Sun Droplet would be good with it, but if you gain life on a turn, happens one time, you get to create a 1/1 cat creature token, and then it gives life link to something else. I'm gonna cut this because that part doesn't necessarily matter. I don't care about maybe other tokens. Uh, Gua Guahir, greatest of the Eagles. Sam, the Eagles. 5/5 flying. Whenever it attacks target creature gain until end of turn. And then at the beginning of each end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, create a 3/3 that also gives flying when it attacks. Kind of like that, other than it's 5 mana, but I kind of like that you're just creating a bunch of eagles. Could be down with that. Ageless Entity. Whenever you gain life, put that many 1/1 counters on it. This is like a bad version of Treebeard. Probably gonna cut it. I don't need another Treebeard. I don't think. Not without trample. Ugh. Crested Sunmere. Whenever you gain life once per turn at the end of the turn, you can create a 5/5 white horse creature token. And then horses are indestructible. Other horses are indestructible. It's sweet. Valkyrie Harbinger, 4/5 flying lifelink. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain 4 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel with flying and vigilance. So I feel like there's a couple of versions here that I can be making tokens for as much life as I've gained each upkeep or during a turn or whatever to trigger it, or putting 1/1 counters on stuff like Treelasara. So it might be just like keep Treelasara for the scrying and just have to get rid of the other stuff, which would be disappointing. Um, but we'll see. Uh, Night of Dawn's Light. If you gain life, you get to gain that +1 instead. So it's nice if for all the little triggers, you're gaining 2 life instead of 1. Um, Griffin Airy. If you gain 3 or more life at the end of your end step, you get to put a 2/2 Griffin into play. 2 mana is the only reason that's there because that's not going to trigger multiple end steps. Angel of Vitality. If you would gain life, add 1 on top of that for each trigger. And then it gets +2/+2 if you have 25 or more life. And so it's doing some work there. The Book of Exalted Deeds. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life, create a 3/3 white angel. And then you can pay 3, exile the book, and then put a counter of you can't lose the game on your opponents, can't win the game, activate only as a sorcery, only on angels. Um, but creating a bunch of 3/3s could be really nice. Resplendent Angel, if you gain 5 or more life, create a 4/4, and then you can turn it into a 5/5 flying lifelink angel for 6 mana. I don't I like it. Trudge Garden, whenever you gain life, you can pay 2 mana to put a 4/4 into play. And then Angelic Accord at the beginning of each end step. If you gain 4 or more life this turn, put a 4/4 angel into play. So I don't quite know. There could be a token sub theme here instead of the counters. I am not counting on the tokens. I don't know which way to go. Could just be a couple of creatures just going tall and a couple of payoffs within the bit, but I don't dislike any of these real payoffs other than maybe the airy, but it's so cheap to get going. So it's hard to choose at this point, other than it might not be the counter thing. So I might not Twin Blade and Najani's Primate might not make it. I still like Voice of the Blessed. Probably get up there. Okay, I guess we're going token route. All right, we'll get rid of those two. I don't think Load Rider is going to do much for me either. I'd probably rather have the tokens. 3 life might be hard at the beginning too. Down. All right, a handful of cuts there. We're not going to cut these, but they are overrun style effects. Blossoming Bog Beast, whenever it attacks, gain 2 life, and then all your creatures get +X/+X for as much life as you gain this turn. Overwhelming Stampede, all your creatures get +X/+X, where it's Treebeard's power. All your creatures get that plus. Same thing with Pathbreaker Ibex. So creating overrun effects at this point. A little bit of Graveyard Recursion. Celestine, the Living Saint. At the beginning of your end step, it has flying lifelink 3/4 for 5. Return target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. And so, not a bad deal. Sword of Light and Shadow. Pro black, pro white, +2/+2. Whenever it deals damage, gain 3 life and bring a creature card from the yard into your hand. And then Samwise Gamgee. Whenever another non-token creature you control ETBs, create a food token, and then sacrifice 3 tokens to return target historic card from the graveyard to your hand. Historic is Legend, Saga, Artifact. And then there are ETB cards, so Elish Norn, Mother of Machines. You have Gandalf the White. So double any ETB triggers. Gandalf the White should oh, glad I'm reading it. Legendary permanent or artifact entering it or leaving the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger. That ability triggers an additional time. I'm not going to have enough legends or artifacts in here, likely. So we'll cut that. And then Panharmonicon, double ETBs. and an Eldrazi Displacer to blink stuff. I don't think I have like, it's nice. We'll cut it, but I don't know how much blink I really want in here for that kinda thing. Alright, and then +1/+1 counter deals. I doubt I'm gonna want a whole ton of that. Sword of Truth and Justice, pro blue and white, and put a 1/1 counter on a creature and then proliferate. So that's kind of the spreading of that out. Cleric class, if you would gain a life, add one to that. And then also, if you level it up, whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. I think I like this a lot more than like a Johnny's Pridemate type thing, just because you can spread it out. Same thing with Heliod's Sun Crown. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on it. Also can give life link. Yeah. Johnny Steadfast. All of them are relevant. So giving Treebeard +1/+1 first strike vigilance and lifelink is huge. You can create put a 1/1 counter on everything, and then you get an emblem with your life can't go below one. Yeah, oh wait. If you would deal damage to you or planeswalker you control, prevent all but one of that damage. Okay. Prevent all but one. So that's doing some work in here, I'd say. Primeval Bounty. Whenever you cast a creature, create a 3/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature, put 3/1/1 counters on something, and then whenever a land ETBs gain 3 life, it's probably just too much mana at that point. I like it. It does a lot. Cathar's Crusade. I don't want to deal with it in this deck, but adds a lot of counters around. Pledge of Unity, putting 1/1 counters on all my creatures and gaining a life for each creature I control. I like that. I like that. Nykthos Paragon, putting counters on all my creatures for one time, the first time that I gain life on a turn, for as much life as I gained. So a big chunk is nice. Archangel of Thune, putting 1/1 counters on everything per gaining of life. Hydra's Growth, at when it ETBs, put a 1/1 counter on enchanted creature, and then at upkeep, double the number of 1/1 counters on enchanted creature. Branching Evolution, double the amount of 1/1 counters that are going on stuff. Colonia Hydra, whenever it attacks, double the amount of 1/1 counters that you have. Same thing with Voron class, it's doubling the amount of 1/1 counters and stopping counters for your opponents. Animation module, whenever one or more 1/1 counters are placed on a permanent, I can pay one to create a token. And then Hardened Scales, whenever you put a one or more counters on a creature, put one more on there. All right, that is everything. I'm gonna cut Vorinclex. Just these fat guys. I don't think branching evolution is going to be consistent enough. I don't think. Colonia Hydra, probably get rid of that too. Hydra's Growth probably should just be a lifelink thing. I'm okay with that. Handful of cards to get like everything big. I like that. That's a chunk. Chunk. Probably don't. I'm going to cut Sword of Truth and Justice as well. Probably not going to be consistent enough for that. I mean, adding one onto Treebeard is cool and all, but Proliferate ain't going to do much. So, all right. Not a bad session for cutting there. Oh, that's everything we cut right there. I'm going to grab a drink. All right. Let's see here. All right. All right. Let's put this into CMC order and just see where things are stacking up a bit, making sure that we have some things to work with. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 1, 4. Way too big. 2 non-token creature. All right. I consider swords at the 5 spot, even though that's not totally true, but it's the preferred place for me to put it. 3s, 5s, 2, 1, big. 2, 1, 5s, 3, 6 spot. All right. 5, 3, 1 and 2 and 5. 1 and 3. Let's see here. 4, 2s. Let's see here. All right, 6. 4. Plenty there still to work with. 1, 3s. All right. What do we got here? Little stretch, little 1 hour mark. All right. Let's see here. Not a lot at that 4 spot. Kind of impressed there. 2s and 3s. I like to have my fattest spot on the curve. 5's pretty fat there. So we'll see where we go. All right. Let's look at that top curve part. All of this kind of makes sense. I think the Great Henge is perfect in here. Same thing with Kerberos. All right, this spell can't be countered. Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control, then put any number of creature cards from your hand. I thought it was so creatures from hand onto the battlefield. That's nice. It's still nice. Still drawing a ton of cards. I like Heliod's Intervention. They're both relevant. It's still a really good card when you're just destroying stuff, but that potential life gain is also really nice. I kind of got rid of. I don't have any discards, so I don't have any way to get it into the yard and out of my hand. So I think we can cut Sprout back Trudge. So, yeah, that feels right. We cut plenty of cards that were just there for being big. So, all right there. All right, 6 spot. Rishkar's Expertise, Fanghorn, Celestial. Okay. So I guess the question is we must be going kind of wide with creatures if we're going to have like Pathbreaker Ibex and Overwhelming Stampede and that other one. So like that the downfall here is I like this because it can create its own angels and stuff like that, but that 6 spot, it's not going to make me enough angels. So we'll cut Valkyrie Harbinger. I like Nykthos because that'll make things big. Rishkar's Expertise has always been nice. It's done some nice work for me. And here it might be a little bit more work. Let's just cut that. Let's just cut it. I like Fanghorn Marauder probably. Let's see here. Celestial Mantle. probably a little bit less. I like these two. We'll stick with those two. So the question ends up being repeatable, but probably if I just get one of these off, then it's probably game for somebody. It's nice to do it at instant speed towards people see that coming. Um, so let's at least cut the mantle at this point. Keep beacon. Shamanic Revelation. Like I said, this should be a solid card. I like Ezra Root here, Timber Protector, giving indestructible. I think there's going to be enough counters in there at this point. Angel of Destiny is just kind of a game ender for somebody. That's doing work. I like that. Sunscorch Regent is going to get me a lot of triggers, not necessarily a lot of life. Batterskull is a lot of life. Crested Sunmere is the trigger. All right, Blossoming Bog Beast is going to be nice. Overwhelming Stampede. Your end step. Elish Norn. Permanents entering the battlefield causing a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger. That ability triggers in additional time. And so, like the Soul Sisters, anything coming into battlefield and drawing me card or gaining me life is going to double up. But whenever the life gain triggers are separate, it's only the ETBs. So I guess we're gonna have to figure that out. I don't dislike any of the. I'm gonna have to cut back on the triggers. Like I like Gwahir. 5, 6. Oh, that's there. Probably too many 5s. Let's go through that again. All right. Everything getting 1-on-1 counters is nice. Elish Norn. So far, so good, I think. I'm going to have to go through and see how much that works with. I think that's okay. Living Saint, Overwhelming Stampede, Bog Beast. Giving the flying is fine, but getting more creatures is really nice. Crested Sunmare? Is that something I need to worry about? It's just 5 mana, getting 5/5 indestructible horses. I don't have to gain a certain amount. I still like it. Oh no. I forgot about the Ozolith. Yeah, that'd be probably pretty good in here. I'll add it to my list. I don't know if I actually have 2 decks that probably need it. Is that what I'm doing? I don't know. Sword of War and Peace is still nice. Batterskull, Sunscorch, Regent. If I had to choose between the two, I'd probably go Sunscorch, Regent. Fracturing Gust does a lot of work here, probably. Silverback, Angel. All right, we got a lot at this 5 spot. I don't know. All right. I think just for a reason to have, that's Lord of the Ring style. Let's keep Lord of the Ring cards together as best we can. We'll cut Sunmare, which feels bad because it's first time I've been able to do that, use that in like 4 or 5 years, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at, baby. Fake card, fake card, fake card. All right. Well, Last Dreams, I think that's in solidly. Ranger of Eos, I like it. I think we can cut Paradise Plume. I don't think it's just like my ramp a little bit cheaper. Accomplish Alchemist. Now this can get me a lot of mana, so I'm down with that. Smothering Tithe probably only works because of some of the artifacts stuff going on. Oh. like the Leonin Elder, stuff like that. Shalai is nice protection. On Sarah's Wings, I like that too. Just that potential lifelink. We're gonna have to figure out how many cards are giving just lifelink in general. Because I don't need too many, but I'd like to have it show up at least once in a game. Ajani still makes sense to me. Aetherflux, yeah. Wall of Reverence, yeah. Assemble the Entmoot. How much do I care about that? At the beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, distribute up to that many 1/1 counters among any number of other target creatures. So I can just distribute them all over the place. Um, it's not a bad deal. We'll keep it for now. I don't know how much I like this one. Four life for a 4/4. That's each upkeep. Okay with that. Panharmonicon, and that's that life link. But I don't know if I care about the 1/1 counters as much. We cut that probably. Probably. Let's see here. 3-spot. How's this going, hockey? We doing all right? You liking the direction it's going? Augur is still like. Let's move these out of the way. Peregrine took. I don't know how many foods are being made, but there's still enough in here. The Gaffer probably is still going to draw me cards. Hunter, yeah. Spartan Call. Let's keep these around a little bit. Ranger. Can't cast non-creature spells this turn. I like the ETB and the ETB at this point. Tapping for life gain. Don't hate any of this. Right control, duelist. That, yeah. Da 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 do 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 do. There could be a little bit of blink in here. That could be nice. Comes into play. Draw a card. Sam, Angel, Book. 5 or more life seems like a lot, but just having a 3/3 for 3 flying. This card just feels bad. I look at it and I know how much I spent for it. And it's just like, I don't know if I like this. And that's why you don't get cards from standard when it's in standard. Wait. All right, so I have free triggers, but this is just one for 4/4. I don't hate that either. Pledge of Unity works. Heliod's Crown. All right. That's gonna have to go down, but we got some good work in there. 2, yeah. Library. I like Azor's Gateway at this point. Archivist, Dawn, Explore. All right, Gallic Readers. 1/1 counter on it. I don't care about that. Tap Treasure. Pretty weak all around. We can cut that, I think. Well, making that treasure is kind of nice. Nah. Let's cut that. Druid class gaining the life. Potentially playing more mana. Cryptolith, right? Prize Pig. Sakura Tribe Elder. 1, 2, 3 for the Farseeks. The nice thing is you want to be in that 2 spot a little bit because that puts you at 4 on turn 3. And that's not a bad deal to be. So, Heroic Intervention for sure. Together Forever. I don't really care about it at this point. Canopy Cover and Alpha Authority still do some work. Merrick of Sakiku. I like all of it. Robe of Stars, Lion Sash, Scavenger Ooze. I think they gotta go. Probably. They're pretty. I just probably don't need them. They're probably just too much work. Blind Obedience, yeah. At this point, that's gonna make it. Ordeal of Heliod. This is just there to gain 10 life. I mean, it's nice and all. That'll happen before. I probably like this better than the 6 mana, doubling the life. Because doubling the life is dead towards the end of the game, like if it's getting lower and lower and you're getting picked on type thing. We'll cut Beacon, I guess, and we'll keep Ordeal. Suture Priest does enough. Spirit Loop, Oriok, Power Leech, maybe. I like both these still. Griffin Airy, Knight of Dawn's Light. Target historic card. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a food token. I think we can cut that. It's just there for the gang life. We have 2 other cards. We have the one of the classes and then that angel. I don't think I need this going on. I cut that. And Sam, I think it can make a lot of food, but I'm not going to be able to bring back a lot of historic cards from the graveyard. I think that's going to be the problem there. It's cheap and it's going to get me a lot of food, but I don't think it's going to do its main thing there. All right, 2 spot. Let's see here. I don't think Suture Priest is going to give me enough life. I think that's something we can get rid of. Light Obedience, Robes, Wrap, Mark. I kind of like these. Together forever. Let's make this last forever. Do 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 do. All right, we're good there for now. One spot I like Farsight here at this point. Top, Harbinger, Bop, Ring, Pilgrim. One with Nature Works here. Gilded Goose, Basilisk Collar, Tameo's Safekeeping. Johnny's Welcome. I think I'm going to cut Ajani's Welcome as well. I think I'd rather have Authority of the Councils. Definitely these 3 beasts. Leon and Elder is probably going to do more work as well. Spirit Link is nice. Sarah Ascendant for sure. Cleric class, yeah, I like that in there. It works. So the question ends up being Hardened Scales adding more counters slightly. How many more creatures are going to be getting counters? Probably good enough at this point. Plenty of counters going around, so probably worth it. Protection from multicolored. I do like that. That's kind of fucking glossy, though. Yeah, that's glossy. All right. For 1 mana. I like that. We'll get rid of it, but I like that. Oh, all right. Welp, I have to sleep. Gotta work. A hot one in the oven tomorrow. Fake cards. What did I walk? Hey, thanks for swinging on by real quick, Mr. Parks. Appreciate you. Hopefully, stay safe tomorrow, right? It's hot. It's hot out there. All right. All right. Let's do it by type. We're getting down there. Cut those from since the beginning. Doing some work. Oh, work. All right. Creature type or card type. Doot. Enchantment. There we go. Creature. Do. I have kind of a lot of auras in here, more than I anticipated when I started putting it all together. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, especially when you're Voltroning, like, and I have a lot of stuff going on. Let's go through and just pull the creatures first. Oh, and then I don't get any creatures. There we go. Oop. Do, 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 do. Sorceries. I don't know. Go. Instant. Artifact. Yeah, definitely plenty of enchantments. We're going to have to... Might be trouble. How many enchantments I have? Instance. Let's get the creatures out of here again. It's a lot easier not to fly around. Sorceries. Yeah, Fracturing Gust might get cut. I want it in here. I think it's perfect. But I think it's just going to hit too many cards. That's going to be brutal. All right, Johnny stays. Let's see here. Last March of the Ents. Still got a ton of creatures in there, so that's a fine keep at this point. Overwhelming Stampede. Destroy all creatures with no counters on them. Shamanic Revelation. All of that is fine. I think I'm going to cut Explore. Fine with that. I'm not super attached to that. It's a nice little cantrip. Heliod's Intervention. Fracturing Gust. It's going to gain a lot of life. Gain a lot of life. Inspiring Call. Protect. And then draw me some cards. I like Hunter's Insight. Unbreakable Formation. I don't know how much I care about that at this point. But that gives me 2 to 3. I can protect everything. It's a nice little fog. I don't hate it. I don't love it. All right, Fierce Protection. Beast Within. Generous Gift. Let's cut both of these guys just because they're generic. And I don't know how much I care about creature removal. Treebeard should probably be the biggest creature on the board. So I should be able to run everybody over. Problem ends up being like pillow forting or some type of potential to win the game outright. And so that's where I'm at. All right. All right, Obadiah. Pledge of Unity. Another one that's adding a bunch of 1/1 counters. I'm cool with that, I guess. Rapid Vigor, Heroic, and Tameo Safekeeping. All right, let's see here. I likely will just cut Tameo Safekeeping. I don't have any other, just like Protect the King. Yeah. All right. Tameo Safekeeping can go. Artifacts. Great Henge. Yeah. I just don't have a lot of cards that will be purposely in the graveyard, so I don't know how much I like that, but Batterskull. How many swords do I have in here? 2? At least 2, right? If I'm counting the frying pan, then it's 3. All right. All right. I probably don't care about Light and Shadow. Probably not. But I do like War and Peace. Oh, that's pro white though. I don't think I have many auras that are gonna have problems with that. Great Henge is good. Well of Lost Dreams. Yup. I like Field Test Frying Pan, Swiftfoot Boots. Maybe that's what I should be doing is going through and just being like, yeah, these are in. This is in. This is happening. Um Anything I hate? Hate. Da 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 do. I think we can cut Panharmonicon and just rely on Elish Norn, Mom. Just because I'm a dickhead. We'll go with that. And then if somebody clones her, yeah, great. Sweet. Fantastic. Oh, that's 3 more life. Create a 3/3 angel token with flying. Put in a light encounter on target angel. It gains. You can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. Activate only as a sorcery. We probably don't want to get Faithless Haven, but phasing from Teferi's protection also saves my tokens, which is nice. So we'll keep it that way. Let's see here. All right. That's probably hard to cast, but that's alright too. I don't think I hate anything in here. Batter Skull. I still want you. Just a fatty to gain life, huh? 4 life. Right with that at this point. All right, let's see what this frying pan's doing again. 3 to come down, 2 to equip, free equip to a 1/1 hobbit that it creates. Equip creature gains. Whenever you gain life, this creature gets +X until end of turn, where X is the amount of life you gained. Yeah, that makes total sense in here. All right. Enchantment. Smothering Tithe is solid on Sarah's wings. I like it. It's flying vigilance, lifelink, 1/1. Doing some work there. Some of the Entmoot probably is only there because of Lord of the Rings at this point. Angelic Accord. 4 mana seems like a lot. I don't know how much that's gonna hit. Let's cut that, I guess, at this point, and then once it'll be interesting. I feel like I could gain like 3-ish life per turn and then have that kind of trigger a bunch, but 4? That should hold people off a bit. Duelist Heritage with the double striking, protection. Should gain a bunch of life. Gain life, pay 2. I'm down with that. I probably like this better than that because this is just whenever. And there's only 1 trigger per round. We can cut that out. Power Leech. I don't know how much I need that, but Ordeal of Heliod. Blind Obedience. Pew, pew, pew. Canopy Cover. Hexproof, hard to block. Gaining a bunch of manas. I don't know how much I like Together Forever. That's a solid question, right? Yeah, we could probably get rid of that. We probably don't need that. It's just like leaving the mana open to get Treebeard back in your hand doesn't really matter. Cryptolith Right should be good. Druid class, yeah. Dawn Hope. Draw, ramp. Having creatures come into play tapped. Bop, 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 bop. I'm down with all that. Creatures. All right, we're starting to look good. That's feeling substantive. Hour and a half. Ugh. All right. Creatures. Kerbis, Elish Norn, Archangel, Ezerut. There we go. Pathbreaker, Nykthos, Fanghorn, Celestine, Gwahir. Still like Gwahir. I like that. I don't know. Blossoming Bog Beast, Sunscorch Angel. Let's reread that. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. At the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 life or more than your starting life total, each player, Angel of Destiny attacked this turn, loses the game. All right, so the question ends up, am I going to have 15 or more life than my starting life total? Good. But it's something I'll probably cut for now until I can reliably see how much life I'm gaining. That's definitely a sideboard card. Silverback Elder. All right. Cast a creature, destroy an artifact or enchantment. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them into the battlefield tapped. Put the rest. Oh, it's a land card. All right. So it's destroy an artifact or enchantment, potentially ramp or gain 4 life. Oh, I don't hate any of that. I don't hate any of that. All right. Protecting Treebeard. Down with that. Bunch of life. Ranger of Eo. Shalai. Wall of Reverence. Beginning of each end step. Okay. The Gaffer. Drawing cards. Sacking food to draw cards. Ugh. Augur Bottom is still nice. Wood Elves, Farhaven. Ranger, Captain. Draw. Treasure. Selvala with the gaining life. Angel. All right. So you're saying cut Sam. I don't know how many food cards I have. Let's let that off to the side. I'm almost there. Trelasara, Voice of the Blessed. See, that's another one. I like the scry on Trelasara, but I think that'll get big fast. I think it's going to get big fast. Ariok, Prize Pig, Sakura Tribe Elder. Probably can get cut. You could probably cut that. Archivist, down. Tree Folk, Birds, Pilgrim, Goose. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's go through and see how many foods we have going on here, right? Goose. 2. Probably don't like these two technically, but 3. Food, oh food. Dude. All right, let's look at how many foods. I mean, there's definitely like a food deck there, but that's not this at this point. Create a food token and a halfling token, so I guess that's there. Let's see here. Food. Dude, it's food. All right. All right. So not a lot of food stuff going on, but I like them all together. Like I want this in there on its own. The goose is going to get a little help from Treebeard. Tireless Provisioner is able to get both of those. So are we talking about cutting these two? Something that creates food, life gain, more artifacts, and this is doubling up on some of this stuff. And then also whenever one or more tokens could be created under your control, which is kind of the way the deck is going right now. I don't dislike any of these. All right. Even with the little amount, there's Treebeard, and a handful of things going on. But it feels good. Let's see if there's another angle in here that can potentially see if there's something there. All right. Where are we at? Hour and a half. Let's go into utility. What are they doing? And then go from there. Because again, I think we've made progress. These are all the cuts we've made so far tonight. Let's just see where we're at. I'm going to make a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. 30. 30. 30. So 105. So we're looking for roughly 30 more cuts to get me in the range where I want to stop. So probably have to stop in the 20s though. That's just how it's going to work. Protection, we'll probably use this more for removal than anything. This is pretty late ramp, so I wouldn't consider that, but everything else is pretty decent. Life gain, we'll start putting overruns in the protection packet. All right, so this is gaining life, and this is payoffs. That's a payoff, actually. Gaining life. That's a payoff. That's technically a payoff. I don't know if I'm going to like that, but gain life. There's a little bit of ETB there. Making tokens. Payoff. Gaining life. Manas. And we'll consider that gaining life. Mana. That's card selection, so I can put that over there. That's card draw, ramp, gain life. We'll consider that card selection. That ends up being, what are we doing here? Well, I guess that's something with counters on it. That's going to be life gain, removal, ramp, draw, ramp. That's probably more land at the beginning. Draw, counter bullshit, gain protection, over 1, removal, 3. Therefore, the removal. Hard scales is that kind of bullshit. Gain life. Gain life. That's a type of removal. Draw. High life gain thing. Manas. Gain life. Payoff. Gain life. Protection. That's gain life. Mana. I guess that's there. It's food. That could be a draw. I'm okay with that. Ramp. Draw. Ramp. Mana. Payoff. Protection. Player removal is always nice. Mana. That's there. 1/1 bullshit. Lifelink. Bop, bop, bop. Protection. That's also draw. Removals. Where are we at? All right. Let's see here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19. That's a stretch as well. Let's see what we got here. So if I can cut handful, doesn't even have to be a handful. Tree folk? How many tree folk do I have in here? I can go get a forest, which is also nice. But let's see here. That is a tree folk. That's one. I guess two. Just for where can I put a couple of halflings, which might not be bad to have in here as well. Oh, that's a halfling too. All right. Dwarf cleric. 19, 18, 17. Is that what I'm doing? All right. I think I'm going to cut these two ETBs drawing and then just be happy. We're at 17 drawing. Leave that for now. All right. Manas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19, 20, 21. All right. It's gaining me life, treasures, and food. I like turning the Soul Sisters into one with nature's nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bop, bop, bop. Let's just get rid of Smothering Tithe. Everybody uses it all the time. It's okay to. There's plenty of cards in here that support what you're trying to do. Question ends up being, what are you doing? What are you doing? They're all fine in there. That's where we're at this point. It's problematic. All right, removal. For now, I'm going to get rid of Fracturing Gust. I just have way too many artifacts and enchantments in there. Sadly, I think it'd be fantastic in here. So if you feel like you can just blow up all your stuff, go for it. Reservoir. It's nice. I think I'm going to get rid of Blind Obedience. I'd rather just have Authority of the Councils in here if I'm just trying to be aggressive. Not a lot of removal in here. Sadly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's kind of like player removal, artifact and enchantments. Same thing there. Just a one spot creature, and then a little bit of control. That potential kind of little payoff. That's gaining life, potentially, always. Yeah, that works for me. There's not a lot there, so I gotta work with what I'm willing to do, I guess. I like Elish Norn in here. I think there's plenty of ETBs. Maybe that's something that I check for next. How many ETBs? All right, so counter bullshit. I don't dislike any of them, but also paying mana. All right. Count on each creature you control. Gain 1 life for each creature you control. Animation module could be nice. Just creating a bunch of little chumps. Hardened Scales. Kind of like it. Lathiel. I like the payoffs. I don't know if I at the 4 spot. Lifelink though. So you put it all on there, attack the next time, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. She's probably pretty good. I got to cut somewhere. All right. Not a whole ton of payoffs. I'm going to admit I must have cut deep into that. Payoffs just kind of Treebeard a bit, right? All right. So gaining 3 life to get a 3/3 per life, grade of 4/4. Creatures you control have reach. I don't know how much I care about that. All right. I think, oh man, I like the Entmoot makes sense here. All right. Creatures you control have reach, just as 4. I wish if you could cut this down to 3 and cut one of them tree folk out, I'd rather play it. That's the crazy thing, right? All right. Sacrifice it. Create 3 tapped XX green tree folk tokens where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. Put a reach counter on each of them. I don't know why they just don't have reach in general, but fine for now. Let's do some protection, I guess. And we're going to have to cut heavy into the life gainers, I think. All right. Protection. Yeah. A bunch of life gain. Unbreakable formation. What are we looking at here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at like mass protection, I guess. And I guess individual protection. All right. That's individual. Mostly just 4. And then overall whooping. Oh, that was in payoff, that too. All right. Bop, 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 bop. I like, all right. So individual bits. Kerbis makes sense. I like Shield of the Oversoul. Robostars, definitely boots. How much do I care about these? Hexproof and then hard to block. Can't be blocked by more than one creature. And then can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. Canopy cover, alpha authority. Unfortunately, I think they're really good in this deck, but I'm unfortunately going to cut these two. Gotta cut somewhere, right? Individually, I like those quite a bit. Let's look over at these a little bit more unique. I don't have a lot of tree folk, but giving indestructible and +1/+1, does that matter to like literally this and 3 other cards? Ezra Root, Treebeard, which is a big thing, and then there's the Harbinger. And this doesn't even gain the indestructible. All right. I can get rid of, if I'm getting rid of this, I could probably get rid of the Harbinger. Let's think about that then. Boom, 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 boom. Do 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 do. Oh, and I don't really want to get rid of it. All right. Treefolk Harbinger is cut. Now all we have is Treebeard and that. So that's whatever. And then full ass protection. I think Shalai's doing some work in here. I like that and that. Generate each creature you control or putting counters on it. It's probably better than just Rapid Vigor. So, all right. At that point, I'd probably just rather have the free one if I even want it in here. That's where we're at. All right, and then life gainers. Let's do the life link thing. Let's see how many sources of life link I have in here, because I could I could probably cut back on that. Yeah, that's probably too many, right? Probably want to have it cheap. So I guess Batterskull's kind of in that conversation too. I like the Vigilance and the Lifelink. Both of them are relatable. 5 mana to equip is a bit rough. 3 to return it to your hand as a protection bit. I think on Sarah's Wings, unfortunately, gets cut. I thought that card being here pretty nice. I think I'm choosing Batterskull over it. And then I think we can cut Spirit Link because it doesn't. It's good. It's probably pretty good in here, but I think I'd rather have the Bring It Back, the protection, and the equipments that do that. So it's probably the way that'll go. I know that the Heliod one can give lifelink as well. So I'm okay with that. All right. Plenty of life gain. Sam. I think Power Leech can go. I think I like the idea. Okay, we know that Auriok, Attendant, Warden, and Elder, I think, are in, along with Sarah Ascendant, totally. And then after that, I think I'd rather have. I think Power Leech potentially does not do enough. And that life gain, I think I like. Vangrin is probably. If I'm not really a food deck or a treasure deck, so I can't feed off of it very well. I think if it's in play and you're doing your thing, I think it does some work. But I think it's something that we can cut. Everything else is kind of cheap. The only expensive ones are Sunscorch, which I like here. So I'm okay. It's kind of doing both of what I want. Maybe we cut Orem's Prayer just because it's dependent on maybe they don't attack and then it doesn't make your Treebeard very big. Druid class, gain life, potentially putting more. I think this just gaining me 10 life. I think we cut it. Which sounds fucking ridiculous. But putting the +1. I like the Wall of Reverence. I like the all right. So these are the two that are adding +1. I think these two can get cut as well. If I'm trying to, I want to kind of keep Sam. Is that so bad? No. All right. Plenty there. All right. Let's just look for ETB triggers that can double. Oh, yeah. Hey. Saturn. Not terrible, but has to be specific deck type. Yeah, we are deck building. New. I see. Bonchiri. Am I seeing that? Satoru. All right. Hey, thanks for joining the stream here. Deck building. We're building Treebeard. So life gain kind of thing. I didn't see what you're responding to for not terrible, but has to be a specific deck. So I'm probably gonna go through my CMC one more time. I want to see how many cards actually interact with Elish Norn as well. But let's check here. So technically Treebeard does with the food. So a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger. Okay, so it doesn't have any specifics on it. which is nice. All right, so how many? That's another one. Let's see here. Like I like the ones that they do interact with. All right, there's an ETB. That's a cast trigger, unfortunately. Non-token creature enters the battlefield, so that works. All right, let's see here. This is, I guess that would double up. Let's see here. Created, which is different than ETBing. Well, those would be nice, huh? All right, so 8, 9, 10, 11. 15 cards that I would like to keep in here. Let's take a look at the curve again. Let's see what we got. That's over there. That one spot. 2s and 3s. And so, I mean, like, I like how it's shaping up. I don't know if there's a couple of cards that just need to go, but we'll get a good look here, and then we'll have to play around and see where things need to end up. 2. Definitely some cards that create like a high curve that are all right. 2. Prismatic Talman's probably got to go. I keep on looking at the Entmote. I think that needs to go. Unfortunately, it'd be great here thematically, but it's just something that shouldn't be here. I think I'm going to cut this one too. I'm unlikely to do the you can't lose the game bit. Don't have a ton of angels in here. It does make angels, but you know my point. All right, we'll cut that for now. 5 or 3. 3, 1, 1. This is probably a 3 as well. 6. Riot Control. 4. 5. Move that up to 3 if we want. 5, 3, 1. All right. Let's see here. Probably go through this, do a count, see if we're getting close. I think we're getting close. We're getting, that stack is getting pretty big of cards that we've cut tonight. Starting to look like we're getting close. All right. Kerberos seems, that is a tree folk. Forgot about that. I missed that. So Harbinger back in potentially. I'm gonna spend to cast it, and then remove X 1/1 counters, a 1/1 counter, prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn. to another target creature with a 1/1 counter on it. Is that cool? Is that gonna work? Like, preventing damage hardly matters unless there's, like, death touch? Is that what I'm worried about? Probably not. But being a tree folk, I think that'd be good. But we're gonna cut that. Just to cut cards. Alright, 1, 2, 3. I'm okay with those top ends. 1, 2, 3. Also good with those top ends. Can start running through some stuff there. Ugh. And so part of the problem with Channeler here, Reach, also a tree folk, but creature spells you cast cost X less to cast, where 2 is the amount of life you gain this turn, or X is the amount of life you gain this turn. And so at 6 mana, how much am I going to be reducing? I don't, like the highest thing is Pathbreaker and Nykthos Paragon, but my big ones, bum bum bum. Kerberos was just cut. I don't know how much this is going to do for me. I'm still going to try and fit it in just because it's super on theme, but unfortunately, I don't think it really works here. Because of that, where it comes in. But Sword of War and Peace. Are we going to cut our third sword at this point? Probably. Yeah, let's cut that one. I think it'd do really well, but I think I'd rather have Batterskull in here at this point. So Regent, Stampede, Damning Verdict, Archangel, Blossoming Bog Beast, Celestine, Silverback, Elder, Shamanic, and Elish Norn. Elish Norn is a hate piece, also does a lot of work. Silverback Elder, I think that's going to be really nice. I like that better than Channeler for sure. All right, so part of the problem here is I'm not going to get a lot of 3/3 birds out of that give other creatures flying. I think I'd rather just have the overrun pieces, and another Lord of the Ring card is cut. Celestine is nice just for that little bit of your end step. Yeah. Bog Beast, Thune, Damning Verdict. I think that still very much works here. Sunscorch Regent. All right, that 4 spot is very thin. Wall of Reverence, Shalai, Ajani, Reservoir, Well of Dreams, Accomplished Alchemist, and Ranger of Eos. Yeah, all of these are kind of studs. I think we can cut those. All right, 3 spot. I can be kind of aggressive with that. That's a thick 1 spot. All right. Angel at this point is fine. We'll keep the Sam. Like just paying 1 for a food. And there's going to be some food in here. Let's get rid of the food. Let's just see what's there. If there seems to be a lot of food, that's cool. Then we can add it back in. But Basilisk Collar is going to be a ton of fun. I think Unbreakable Formation can go as well. I think we have enough mass protection to make it work. Protection, Duelist Heritage is just good for Treebeard in general. If we give Treebeard like the double strike, he has lifelink, and so that first strike damage gets tacked on onto the normal damage step, which is kind of fun. Riot Control gains a bunch of life at once. Boots, Stars, Pledge of Unity, Heliod, Trudge Garden. I think. All right. Pristine Talisman can probably go. It's nice to have like the trigger of life gain, but I think we're going to end up getting rid of a lot of the token makers too, unfortunately. Paying the 2 probably won't happen a whole ton. Augur of Autumn. Hunter's Insight, Sparring Call, Selvala. I think Selvala could be something that we cut. Just having other people draw cards. It's kind of half-ass rough. The Gaffer still works for me. Halfling that can get big. Same thing with Peregrine Took. Elves. Like all those right there. 2-spot. We're at 2 hours. I'm going to try and wrap this up. It's been moving quick, but all right. I like that protection from the totem armor. Spirit Loop comes back. Heroic. Voice of the Blessed probably gets big. Cryptolith Right. Nature's Lore. I like the idea of Azor's Gateway in here. There's a couple of big mana things that can be happening. I don't know if there's anything I can do with it, but okay. Treebeard, Archivist. Yep, I liked all those. Didn't cut anything from the 2-spot, and the 1-spot is doing what? Yeah, Sarah Ascendant, Authority, Animation Module, just for creatures. Do I care a lot about that? I think we can cut that as well. Might have some potential later on, but Heart and Scales, Soul Ring, One with Nature, says Top, Birds, Pilgrim, bada bing, bada. All right, that's that 1-spot. Let's see where we're at. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 30. 30. And 30. 15. So we're at 75. That's about where I like to stop anyway. All right, so we check for ETBs, we check for life linkers. We just kind of did our curve. We see where we're at. We're at 207. I think we're gonna call it the night for now. Thanks everybody for coming out. Remember to drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. You can see a lot of cards in a short amount of time. Again, check out the podcast Monday nights. Greatly appreciated. Sub, like, thank you. Good night.